My greatest hope for you is that you fall deeply in love with yourself, and not only fall deeply in love with yourself, but you have every single tool, tip, and trick to care for yourself beyond what you even imagine is possible. This podcast is to evolve your soul beyond whatever limitations that you have right now and help you create the legacy that you don't even know that you're here for yet. Your legacy is buried deep within your cells, and we are going to unlock every block that is there within your cellular membrane so that it can be free to express its beauty. Grief is a pure portal for transformation. So many of us are scared to go there, and I get it, because you don't want to get lost in the grief. That grief, when you go into it and allow yourself to express all of your emotions, there'll be rage, there'll be sadness, there'll be terror, there'll be anger. Once you allow your body and your being to express that energy, you'll be able to go through it, because it's... Welcome, Wisdom Keepers, Soul Tribe, and New Earth Leaders to Soul Temple, your haven for self-discovery and growth. I'm Blythe Langford, and I am your guide to finding yourself and your true purpose. Together, let's shift from feeling stuck and misaligned to living a life of purpose and prosperity. I am so excited to share messages from the bush where I live and really dive in with you in this first episode more into who the fuck I am and why I am here and why I am speaking to you and why this podcast may be of value to you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my past and my upbringing and what led me to believe the things that I believe and what led me to want to share the messages that I feel are really important for this moment in time and hopefully for your soul to evolve and grow into the spaces and the places that you feel maybe suppressed or uncomfortable or just maybe not fully integrated in your being. Because let me tell you, epic legend, you are amazing. And I'm here to remind you of that. I grew up in what I thought was the most amazing household. Mum, dad, I'm the eldest of 4 kids, and grew up camping in nature, in the bush, kayaking, fully connected with nature. My dad was an amazing, intuitive, really connected with the animals and really connected with the earth. And when I say connected with the animals, what I mean is he was like Dr. Dolittle, like legit like Dr. Dolittle. He could get wild animals to come and communicate with him, and he really allowed that to be part of my everyday existence. And so I thought I was growing up in a little magical land, and that is part of everything that I love to help people connect with, because this world that we live in, a lot of people don't realize how fucking amazing and how incredible it is and how much magic there is available to you each and every day. So that's what I want to share through these podcasts as well, because once you dive in and tune in and tap into that connection, you will always feel at home. You will always feel at home within yourself and know that you've got allies, you've got ancestors, you've got like this whole freaking team that is there to support you each and every day. So you'll go into every single day feeling fucking awesome. So that's a little bit about my dad. But also, I was in this deluded state of like living this amazing life up until I was in my 20s. And it wasn't until my sister actually pulled me aside one day and she's like, babe, I've got to talk to you about something. I was like, okay, cool. Let it rip. She was like, I don't know where you grew up, but it wasn't in the same household as me. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, we grew up in a really violent household where there was domestic violence and abuse. I was like, no. Like, I grew up with the most amazing family and my parents were epic. I loved them and we did all of these amazing experiences. She's like, I just want you to tune in for a minute, because you may have forgotten and you may be like in a state of trauma that you've actually blocked out a lot of what has actually happened in your past. Dad used to potentially, this is very vulnerable, so it's a very vulnerable share for me, but Dad used to hurt Mum. We used to get abused. We were scared and terrified a lot of the time. Every single night at our dinner table was like a war zone. And you may have forgotten that. And you may have forgotten how hard and scary it actually was growing up in our household. And that's why you think that you grew up in this beautiful wonderland. And this was fucking shocking for me because I was like, what do you mean? And then all of these memories started to tune in and become present. And like I remembered these violent scenarios in my past, and I remembered, you know, bruises on my body that I used to cover up when I went to school. And yeah, like every single night at our dinner table, we were not allowed to leave that dinner table until everybody's meals were finished. And I used to finish my siblings' meals so that they didn't get beat or hit. And I remembered myself stepping in front of my dad when he was raging out and going to hit my little brother and sister. And so then it all came back. And that's when my life took a different turn. And I realized that I was suppressing a lot of grief and terror and trauma. And my parents, whilst I fucking love them and they did their absolute best, had no idea of what they were doing raising children, like so many other parents that are emotionally unavailable for their kids. So this led me down a different path. But I'll come back to this because I want to just dive into what actually happened in my teens that you might find connection with. Now, primary school, as I said, was this epic little wonderland where I thought I was, you know, part of nature and living Dr. Doolittle's life. And then going to high school, I went to a private girls' school in Australia, in Sydney. And it was like a suppressive wonderland where everybody was just trying to impress each other with all of these, you know, all of the consumerism and all of these things. And like, I wasn't even into any of that. Like I used to play soccer with the boys at primary school. Like I wasn't into any of the girly stuff. Like I was a tomboy to the max. And going to high school, like, you know, I remember the first day somebody being like, I love your watch. You know, it was literally like the movie Clueless, if you're as old as me, in my 40s. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks, you know, like whatever. And then it was literally like, what kind of sneakers do you have? What kind of watch do you have? Where do you live? Like, da-da-da-da. How much pocket money do your parents give you? What does your parents do? You know, like all of that kind of stuff. And I was just like, what the fuck is this place? And P.S., where are all the boys? Because they don't have all of this shit going on. And I remember in one of my classes saying to one of my teachers, so like, because when I went from my public primary school into my private high school, they put you into the bottom class. And I was like, how do I accelerate and get into the top class? And they're like, sweetheart, you're in the bottom class because you've come from a public primary school. You'll never get into one of those top classes. You're not doing extra advanced work. You'll never get there. You're always going to be at the bottom. Now, I was a really good student, like great student in my primary school, and this changed the trajectory of my life. I was like, really? I'm going to be at the bottom? Well, I'm going to be at the bottom so fucking good. I'm going to rebel and be your worst student. I'm going to be the best at being the worst. And I found people that were like-minded, and we were just naughty, rebellious little shits. Like I'm talking, there was pretty much me or one of my best friends in the principal's office every freaking day. You know, by grade 8, the second year of high school, we'd figured out how to get the cops to come to our school by the things that we were doing. So we were just rebelling to the max, having the best time ever whilst breaking and poisoning ourselves and losing every brain cell that we could possibly in that moment in time. Like I'm talking drinking, smoking, whatever we could do, whatever we could find, drugs, alcohol at school and on the weekends, we were doing it like to the best of our abilities. To the point where when I was 16 years old, I had this boyfriend who I absolutely was infatuated with. And he died of a heroin overdose. Youngest person in Australia to die of a heroin overdose. In the papers, everything. And I remember getting the phone call from one of my friends at home. And she was like, Blythe, Lawrence is dead. He had an overdose. We couldn't invite you to the funeral because we knew how upset you would be. And that would devastate his mother. So we haven't invited you. We're really sorry. We know that you loved him so much. I remember hanging up the phone and just being hysterical, crying, screaming. My mum rushes upstairs and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, Lawrence is dead. No, no, no. She's like, how did he die? I'm like, drug overdose. Oh my gosh, like heroin overdose. And my mum, the most beautiful woman, also a complete narcissist, lost her shit. And she was like, that's it. You've got 20 minutes. Go down to the park. I want you to bawl your eyes out, do whatever the fuck you need to do, but you are never to bring this up in our house again. Never. Never speak of this again. I was like, okay. So I went to the end of the street, went to the park, cried my eyes out and got my shit together because I didn't want to be beat when I come home, and got my shit together, came home and never spoke about it again. This was pretty much every part of our upbringing. Whatever you were feeling, and you got like a certain amount of time to get over it and then never speak about it again. Now, I was devastated, obviously. And then I partied the next few years. I got a fake ID so that I could get into nightclubs, because back in the 90s, you could get into a nightclub with just fake ID. I started working in a nightclub when I was 17 during my HSC. I like literally would go to school and from the nightclub get dropped off by a boyfriend who was obviously a drug dealer. He had to have a car, he had to be a drug dealer, had to have a car because that's what I needed in order to get my needs met, and get dropped off at school, sign my name in, sign my test and everything like that, and then leave because he'd be waiting out the front and we'd go and do something awesome and fun for the day. I literally sold my textbooks in high school so that I could make money. I literally found weed and drugs and sold them at school as well. I had multiple jobs all the same time. I used to do cleaning, babysitting, dealing a little bit of drugs, all different kinds of things. I was an entrepreneur quite young, because even though I went to a private high school, my parents made sure that I was able to fend for myself, and they were also entrepreneurs. So I had that as my upbringing, which I'm so fucking grateful for. And then I remember my mum walking outside the house one day and literally being like, Blythe, what do you want to do when you've left school? What do you want to do? I was like, Mum, I'm going to own a nightclub. It's going to be fucking sick. And she was like, lost her shit being a narcissist, and handed me the phone. She's like, Blythe, you need a fucking career, and your career is going to be a hairdresser. Here is the phone. She literally dialed the number of the Hairdressing Association, handed me the phone, and some dude answered and was like, hello? And I was like, my mum wants me to be a hairdresser. He's like, amazing. Where do you live? I'm like, I live in Ryde in Sydney, Australia. He was like, that's amazing. I've got a friend who's looking for a first-year apprentice. And I called that guy and he was like, amazing. You can come in tomorrow for your interview. And I was like, fuck. And Mum's like, you're going. So I went in the next day, and it was the day before my 18th birthday. And he said, look, I want you to start tomorrow. You've done the interview great. You're everything that we're looking for. I want you to start tomorrow. I was like, dude, it's my 18th birthday. I am not going to be in the state to actually work. I just want to let you know. And he said, oh, no, sweetie, don't worry. You're going to be a hairdresser. It doesn't matter how you show up. As long as you can clean the floor and sweep, it's okay. Bring your own CDs. We don't care how fucked up you are, because the first thing that you're going to have to do for me when you come in is go and get me a 6-shot coffee, because I'll probably be even worse than you. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, it's totally cool here. I was like, really? I think I found my people. Okay, I'm going to come in. It doesn't matter how I am. And I did. I went in, fucked off my head, and literally had the funnest day ever. And then went out for my 18th birthday and partied all night and showed up at work on the Monday and started my career in hairdressing. And it was drugs, partying, loud music, and learning a trade whilst being off your head. And because I am a perfectionist, I did really, really well at it. Bypass a few years, and I realized that there was this company called Tony and Guy, and they were winning all the awards. They were the best, not only in Australia, but worldwide. And I was like, I think I might wanna. And then my mum comes in, and she's a narcissist, and she was like, Blythe, this salon, they are winning all the awards. They are freaking awesome. And they've got a job going in the Parramatta salon. I was like, Mum, I don't want to work out west. Like, seriously, I don't want to do that. And she's like, Blythe, they are winning all the awards. And so went in, got a job there. And I was an apprentice, and they were like, look, your skills are actually really good, which obviously I needed, being, 19 and all about the ego. And I was like, cool, great. And they're like, we'll take you on as a senior straight away. We'll put you into extra training so that you can actually be the best, and then we'll take you on as a senior. And it was amazing. This company was fantastic. Joined this epic company, and for the first 10 years, it was out of this world. I could party, I could do all these things. And then I decided to buy a salon, which was amazing. And then it turned into not so great. I realized that the company, there was just a lot of like sexual harassment, and it was really egoic, and they really wanted to do things like keep you limited in their approach with everything. And I was all about evolving as much as I could, evolving my teams as much as I could. I'd done all this personal development, I'd educated all of my staff, and they were fucking killing it. They were like, the top in our company. There was 30 salons in Australia. They were like at the tops, doing amazing. We'd done all of these, like taught them all about sales, and they were killing it. And as an owner, I realized that there wasn't a lot of ability to take money out of the company. So I started to look outside of the company for other things that were really fulfilling my passions and my journey. And it wasn't until I was 27 that I had an incident in Tony and Guy. Somebody was trying to pressure me into sleeping with another person, and it rocked me. And they were also going to pay me to sleep with this other person, and like a lot of money, like $1 million, to give me whatever I wanted. And I was like, fuck no. Like, I realized that I actually had a lot of integrity, and I was just not willing to do anything like that. And it was also the same year that my salons, I'd only had them for about 1.5 years, started doing 7 figures. In this year, I also found out that my partner was pregnant with another woman, and I got cervical cancer after having a cervical cancer vaccine. Needless to say, it was the fucking biggest year of my life, made the most money ever, yet my health was deteriorating. And so everything needed to shake up, and it literally transformed my life. I went from being hustle mentality, all about the money, into, wow, if I don't get healthy, the money means fuck all. So I started to look into alternative health. I spent the next 10 years literally studying naturopathic nutrition. I studied my sisters' and my cousins' medical journals because they were doctors, everything to do about physiology of the body and anatomy and everything that I could find. Healing herbs. I traveled the world from India to America to Thailand to all different countries to learn as much as I possibly could. And I got over the cancer. I got through it without any mainstream drugs, just minimal help from the mainstream. And it changed my life forever. I, first of all, was extremely sick. And then I remember walking through Piermont in the city, and it was an Indian festival. And this man grabbed me out of nowhere because I was extremely sick. Like, I was in so much pain every day. Like, I didn't have cancer, but digestively, and something just wasn't right in my body. I couldn't figure it out. And I'd had all of the tests to see what was going on in my body, and nobody could figure it out. Walking through this Indian festival, this man grabbed me and he said, I just want to let you know that your gut is extremely inflamed, and that's why you are having so much pain in your body. And I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. And he was like, I know how much pain you're in. And if you went vegan for 1 month, it will clear up all of the inflammation that is in your body. And I was like, And he's like, I know that you were crying last night because you could not sleep because of the pain you're in. I was like, who are you, psychic man? And he's like, I'm a psychic. That's what I do. And I know that you're in so much pain, so just try this. And I was like, I will. I will try it for 1 month because I was paleo and I was all about the meat. Within 3 days, my pain went away and I could sleep. I could eat any vegan food and I felt so much better in my body. I remember feeling connected to the land. I remember feeling more kind. Everything started to change in my world. And I was like, oh, this dude, he's onto something. 1 month went by and I kept on. Another month. And everything started to get better in my life and my world dramatically. My health, But then also synchronicities started to come in, and it was epic and amazing. Fast forward a few years, and I went to a detox center in Thailand. Now, this is where I didn't really read the fine print about this place, and it turned out that it was a fasting retreat. Now, this is before coconuts and kale were in the supermarket, right? So nobody was talking about fasting. There was none of that shit around. Day one, we get there and they're like, okay, this will be your last meal. And I was like, what? Are you guys, like, you're going to kill me? What? Like, what the fuck's going on? It's going to be my last meal. And they were like, you're not eating for the week. I was like, but if you don't eat, you die. And they were like, no. Like, you'll be fine. I was like, okay. And I like grabbed a coconut, went back to my bedroom, opened it up, cracked it open with a rock, ate the meat. I was like, oh my God, I might die here. What the fuck is going on? I came to learn about nutrition and had to sleep, realized that nobody's been dead before, that everybody that like was coming to this place, they were going there because they were curing AIDS, they were curing cancer, they were curing tumors, brain disease that nobody else could cure. I was like, I'm in the fucking right place. This chick Hillary, she knows her shit. Like, it'll be okay. And Hillary taught me everything, and I fucking am so grateful because I learned all about organics. I learned about healing herbs to save you from anything. I learned that generally whatever you've got going on in your body, there is something within a 2-kilometer radius that can heal you. Like, this earth does not make mistakes, right? And I was like, fuck yes, Hillary, thank you. From that experience, a few years later, all of my clients in my salon started to ask me about the changes that I had made in my life if I could coach them through their health concerns. Because just like that psychic a few years ago, I started to see disease in people's bodies. I started to see energy. I started to be able to see the energy in plants. When people had disease in their body, it would shine green. I started to have psychic abilities. All of these magical things started happening. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Oh my God. And it was cool as fuck. And I started to understand and being able to read and tap into people's intuition, into their problems, into whatever was going on in their lives, and be able to source the right ingredients to be able to help them with the diseases or with the depression or with the anxiety that they were going through. Developed a detox product that was able to help people with all different kinds of things. It was fucking epic. And I made my parents swear on my life that if they ever got any disease to do with their gut or anything like that, that they would try this product. A few years later, my mum got pancreatic cancer. And I was like, sweet, well, you just got to do this detox. Within 2 weeks, you'll be sweet. This is what the detox is for. She's like, nope. Blythe, I'm going mainstream. And I was like, what the fuck, Mum? You know that we can help you get over this. And she literally turned to me one day after being sick for quite a while, and she was like, Blythe, I'm not going to be here to watch your father die. I'm going to go first. I was like, what? She's like, I need to go first. I can't watch your father die. Because my dad was a smoker. He had emphysema. I was like, fuck. So you don't want me to help you? You don't want to get better? She's like, I don't want to get better, Blythe. I'm done. Just let me go. I was like, whoa. You're my favorite person. What am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to love you and not help you? She's like, yeah, that'd be great. So I moved in with her for 18 months, supported her through her last years, and it was such a different experience. And her passing was beautiful because she chose it, and she'd been in so much pain. So it was amazing. Then fast forward a few more years, and I'd really been stuck in Tony and Guy. I couldn't get out of it. I wanted to leave and just concentrate on health and well-being, but I was really stuck in there with my business partners, and I didn't want to walk away from the money that I had invested. My salons were worth a lot of money, and I didn't want to walk away from that cash and start up base level, you know. A few years later, I went to Peru doing a dieta. I got really into plant medicine because I was trying all of these things to get me out of the salons. I had no way of leaving. My business partners didn't want me to leave because I was making really good money for them. I'd turned a lot of salons around. I'd turned 3 salons that were in dire, turned them into 7 figures, got the teams running amazing, and had these staff being the best in our company. And my business partners would not let me leave. So, of course, what do? You go to Peru. Peru will figure it all out for you because you can't walk away. Go into plant medicine. I had an accident over there. After we'd done our, 2-week retreat, I was on a motorbike and smashed into a concrete wall. And I remember waking up and this beautiful woman, local woman, was wiping all the blood off my body. And I was like, whoa, you're so nice. I don't know if I would do that for somebody. Like, wow. That was my thoughts. Anyway, the lady that was running the retreat was like, you are going to go back to the hotel room. You wait there. And I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. I think I've broken my legs. She's like, no, we don't have time for this shit. We're going on a tour. You go back to the room and we will come and take you to the hospital when we're ready. I was like, I don't think I can walk. Hey, like, I'm not okay. Can I go to the hospital? She was like, no, we're in the jungle. Like, nobody will speak English. Just go back to the hotel room. We'll take you later. Anyway, I got to the doctor 2 weeks later, and it turns out that I'd broken my arm in 15 places and shattered my elbow into 1,000,000 pieces. And I needed to go home to Australia straight away. I was permanently disabled in my right arm, and I could never do hairdressing again. One part of me was like, fuck yes, this is my exit. And then another part of me was like, wow, I'm never going to be able to do yoga again. I'm never going to go kayaking or rock climbing. Those are the reasons that I chose to not have children. And now I can't even do those things. I was fucking devastated, fucking crushed in so many places. Needed a prosthesis for my arm, never be able to stretch my arm again, maybe never be able to grab anything, not be able to brush my teeth, not be able to hold a baby. Wow. Wow. Is that the reason I went to Peru? I don't know. Anyway, said to my business partners, okay, look, I can't do hairdressing anymore. I've got to fucking leave. Like, this is it. This is my exit. They're like, no, you can run reception. You'll be fine. I was like, fucking hell, let me go, guys. That didn't work. Then a few years later, decided to go to Mexico. I was running a retreat in Mexico. Epic, epic retreat with my teachers. And then was on the top of this amazing mountain, Wirrakuta, to the Native Americans over there. It's like the most spiritual place in the entire world. On the top of this mountain, I'd taken my phone out to take a picture, and my business partner was calling. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm so high right now. What the fuck? And I'd accidentally answered it. He was like, Blythe, are you running a retreat? And I was like, no, because I was not. I'd finished the retreat. And then, thank God, the reception cut out, and I was like, the polarities, I'm having the best experience of my life, and this motherfucker is still part of it. Anyway, we were flying home after my 1-month initiation in Mexico, and COVID happened, and the whole world got shut down. And that was my exit out of the salons. I moved up to the rainforest in northern New South Wales, and it was the most amazing experience of my life. And fast forward a few years, my dad came and joined me up here. He's like, Blythe, I'm coming up for 3 days and we're going to find a beautiful property. I was like, amazing, cool. We found this epic property. He's like, you know what? It's got a few houses on it. Why don't you come and live in one of the houses, do it up, and you can run your retreats from there rather than running your retreats around the world anywhere else. I was like, okay, epic. He's like, this place has got thousands of fruit trees. It's literally your dream because you're a raw vegan. Who else is going to fucking love trees like you do? I was like, yes, okay, cool. And lived here for 1 year with him, and it was the best year of our lives. Dad got really fit and healthy. We were doing life together. It was so much fun. We'd just been to Blues Fest, having the best time ever. And then Dad got this random infection. And within a few days, he'd passed away. And I was crushed. To make it even worse, my family blamed me. To make it even worse, one of my business partners was working behind my back and fucked up my business. And my whole world just collapsed. And again, I got to rebuild myself. But it was just the polarities again. It was like, fuck, I love my dad and all of these things. I'm losing my family. I literally lost everything. And through being able to express myself and express my grief, then the nature here and the land held me and just recalibrated my soul, recalibrated my spirit. and recalibrated my life. And I'd also learned a lot of other tools along the way that really helped me. Rebirthing breathwork, which is a trauma release breathwork, which I'm a facilitator in. I swear without that and the raw food and being connected with nature, I would have lost my whole life. But that literally allowed me to recalibrate, and now we're here, getting people onto our land, reliving my dad's legacy and my legacy so that we can help people return to nature and find out their mission and their purpose and why they're here on this earth, and recalibrate their spirit and their soul with nature. With this podcast, my greatest hope for you is that you fall fucking deeply in love with yourself. And not only fall deeply in love with yourself, but you have every single tool, tip, and trick to care for yourself beyond what you even imagine is possible. Because once you learn and desire to respect your fucking beautiful body and your mind and everything that's gone on in your life beyond what you ever thought is possible, then your life will change for the better. And you will be able to naturally, all of these synchronicities will come into you. Your dream life will unfold. And that is my hope for you, that your dream life unfolds, that you are on a frequency and a vibration that attracts in everything that you want, the relationships that you want, the love that you want, the wealth that you want, the groundedness that you want, the joy that you want. So this podcast is to evolve your soul beyond whatever limitations that you have right now and help you create the legacy that you don't even know that you're here for yet. Your legacy is buried deep within your cells, and we are going to unlock every block that is there within your cellular membrane so that it can be free to express its beauty, because this planet has only got 80 years left, and it's up to you to tap into your unique purpose and gift and legacy so that we can fucking change this planet forever. Thank you for joining me on Soul Temple. If this episode spoke to your soul, I would love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And do not forget to subscribe on your favorite platform. But don't let your journey end here. Connect with me and my like-minded community of souls at Blythe Langford on all social platforms. I really look forward to diving deeper with you on your journey.